That's last.
Breaking back.
Say something. Who do you have plans? Say now. Wow. Armando, Jesus.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I hear you, sir?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you in class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. What about Onyiko?
Yes, sir, I'm here, sir.
Okay, good morning. Sorry. Good afternoon. Is the class captain there? Did the class
President,
captain
sir.
send you?
You are
Did he
welcome,
send,
sir.
yeah, did you send them the materials today?
Yes, I did. I sent it.
Okay. So Onyiko, do you have the test question?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please, everybody, the dean just left my office. That's why I'm coming late. And he said that we omitted two topics before we went to the personal income tax, that we should take tax evasion and tax evasion and avoidance, and then we should take tax interpretation. So we're just going to, because we started section 10 yesterday, we are just going to complete it, and then we are going to go to tax evasion and avoidance. And then we now do tax interpretation, and then we now come back to the personal income tax. Who does not understand what I've just said? If you have the syllabus, let me know. If you look at the syllabus, you will see week 3, tax, week 3, tax evasion and avoidance. Can you see it there? Do you have the syllabus? Onyikon, do you have the syllabus?
Yes, I have the syllabus.
What do you have for week 3?
I want to check, sir.
Okay.
Week 3, division of taxing
Okay.
power and issue.
Oh, we have done that. We talked about FRS. Now we are going to week 4. What do you have there?
Evasion and avoidance.
And then what do you have in week 5?
Interpretation of tax statutes.
Okay, so we are going to start, we're going to wrap up that section 10 that we started yesterday. And then we are going to go to evasion and avoidance after. Then after we finish these two topics, we come back to personal income tax again. So do you have the test question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, can you read it for us?
Mr. Green arrived in Nigeria on September 1st, 2024. He stayed in Lagos for training until September 30th. On October 1st, he went to Warri, Delta State, to work on an OML 555 in Warri as an expatriate until November 30th. He went back to America on December 1st for a short medical leave. He came back on January 1st, 2025, and worked in Port Harcourt until February 28th, 2025. His work was terminated on March 1st, 2025. A. Is he liable to pay tax in Nigeria?
Okay, who wants to attempt that so that we can quickly go back to our main topic? Who wants to attempt that?
So I could try. I think I have a little bit of an idea.
Should I call? Okay, is that Toyiba Toyidwan or who?
Chidera, it's Chidera.
Oh, Chidera, were you here yesterday when I was looking for you?
Yes, I was.
You are hiding from me. Okay. All right, no problem. So let's go. Let's talk about question 1. Oh yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, the question of
A.
whether he is whether Mr. Green is liable to pay tax in Nigeria by virtue of section 10 sub 1 and sub 2. I would say an individual is going to have derived taxable income in Nigeria if he has worked partially or wholly in Nigeria. And then by virtue of section 10 sub 2, if he has
I
worked
can't hear
for a
you. By
period
virtue of what?
100
I can't hear you.
Section
Your
10
voice is
sub
very
2.
low. Hold on. He said, I didn't get that. He said by virtue of section, somebody who has worked
Can you
partially
hear
and
me
only.
now,
I
sir?
didn't get it. What is this Chidera now? Is
Hello?
this Chidera? No, I'm talking about Chidera. She was answering the question.
Sir, can you hear me?
Is this Chidera now?
Yes, it is. I had to
Okay.
take off my headphone.
Okay. So we need to hear you. We are not hearing you well. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I said by virtue of section 10 sub 1, it states that an individual is deemed to have derived taxable income in Nigeria if he has worked partly or wholly in Nigeria. And then section 10 sub 2 states that if he has stayed for a period of 183 days,
It's not 10 sub 2. Oh. It's 1A, B, and C. But go ahead. We are listening to you. Yes.
Oh, okay. So that if he has stayed for a period of
No,
180,
not you. It's not you. We need to know. Use the exact word.
if
Not you.
if Mr. Green has stayed for a period of 183 days. Now it also includes
83 days. 83 days in what? No.
in
That's
12
not
months, regardless, including annual leaves and the rest.
Is that the only condition?
No, it's not. I'm trying to look through the act.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We are listening. Yeah.
So sorry, just 1 minute.
We are listening. Yes.
Okay, yes, it said not okay. Sub 10 A2. They said if the employer is not in Nigeria for a period of periods amounting to an aggregate of 100.
Hold on. The employer.
Days.
Hold on. I don't understand today. The employer is not in Nigeria.
The employee.
Hold on. Can you just tell us what he said? Don't bother reading for it. Just tell us what he said.
It states that if the employee has stayed in Nigeria for a period of 183 days aggregate in a year, in 12 months rather, not a year, in 12 months, which includes annual leaves or temporary period of absence, that he will be liable to pay tax. He can be taxed for the period he has stayed. And then if you look at how long Mr. Green stayed.
Who's you? You have
No, and if we look at how long Mr. Green stayed in Nigeria, including his annual leave, if we calculate that, we'll see that it is up to 183 days in 12 months. So he's liable to pay. And because he's working, though partly in Nigeria, he's still liable to pay.
We'll give you 30%. Who can tell me the condition that are stated under section 10(1) sub A, paragraph A to C? Who can tell me the condition that are stated under section 10 sub 1, paragraph A to C?
All right. So I would like to try.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So according to section 10 paragraph Section 10 sub 1 paragraph A, we have two major conditions, and that is that the personal income tax would be derived from the gain or
The
profits
personal
gotten from
income
an
tax,
employment.
no, it cannot be personal income tax. So that's what we want to calculate.
All
It
right.
cannot be
Let me
personal income tax.
rephrase that. The income of a non-resident would be calculated if
The income is different
if
from
two
the
things.
tax.
Yes,
The income is different from
yes,
the
sir.
tax. All right, go ahead. The income.
Yeah, the income of a non-resident would be calculated on two things to be deemed in Nigeria. If the duties of the employment are wholly or partly performed in Nigeria, and if the employer is in Nigeria or has a fixed base in Nigeria. Now, the earlier thing I mentioned as to the duties of the employment are wholly or partly performed in Nigeria are limited by 3 conditions. And these conditions are that the duties are performed on behalf of an employer who is in a country other than Nigeria, and the remuneration, that is the salary gotten from that employment, is not borne by a fixed base. Then the second thing, if the person has not been in Nigeria for
I
a
don't
period
think
amount.
I don't think you understand what that part A is saying. You know, that's not what he's saying. You know.
I'm trying to give what the Act provides before making the summary of the
No, that is
provisions.
not, and that is not what it says. That is not what it says.
It's saying the Act is saying that the gain or profit from an employment shall be deemed from Nigeria if A, the duties of the employment are wholly or partly performed in Nigeria, unless then there are 3 conditions stated.
Unless, okay, hold on. Unless, that's a negative word. Unless, then go ahead. Unless, go ahead. You have to
Yes,
read like a lawyer. Unless.
Oh.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Unless the duties are performed on behalf of an employer who is in a country other than Nigeria, and the remuneration of the employee is not borne by a fixed base of the employer in Nigeria.
So in
Now,
this
what
case, okay, hold on. In this case, is the employer in Nigeria, is the employer in Nigeria, and is the fixed base not in Nigeria? In this case,
for this, yes,
yes.
sir. According to
No,
the
not
facts
yes.
that
I'm asking a question. It's not a yes or no. Is the employer not in Nigeria? Is the fixed base, is the OML not in Nigeria?
according to this question that we have, I do not think that the employer is in Nigeria. I mean, there is a
It's not in
mention of
Nigeria. Hold on. It's not in
the
Nigeria.
mention of OML.
Hold on. It's not in Nigeria. Something is in Warri. It's not in Nigeria. Where is Warri? Hold on now. Where is Warri?
I was about to read the question again. According to the
where is
question,
Warri?
OML
Where is
is in
Warri?
Nigeria.
And where did the person come to now? Why do you say the employer is not in Nigeria?
Okay, let me answer that again. According to the question,
hold on now. You are jumping over the statute. You are not reading it very well. You are now misinterpreting the statute. It's a very easy question. Okay, let's go over it again. Let's read the section again. Just hold on. Let's read it slowly.
Okay. It says, can I go ahead, sir?
Go ahead, slowly.
Okay, sir. It says that the gain or profit from an employment shall be deemed from Nigeria if A, the duties of the employment are wholly or partly performed in Nigeria, unless
Comma? Is there a comma there?
There's a colon.
No. Is there in Nigeria?
Okay,
There's a colon. Unless. No, before unless. Hold on now. Just take it easy. Before the word unless, what is there?
Comma. Yes, sir.
There's a comma. So unless is in negative. So when there are 2 negative in a sentence, that means a positive. So let us just read it again on your own. So it says that the thing will be derived if the employer is in Nigeria and if the fixed base is in Nigeria. Okay, because there are 2 negative. So that means you are reading a positive sentence. Unless if this is not, I will not give this money to Chidera unless if Chidera is not in Nigeria. And so if Chidera is in Nigeria, then I'm going to give the money to her. So what that section is, so that I won't waste time. I know it's difficult to read. It took me some time to understand it as well. There are 3 conditions. We said it yesterday because we need to go back. 3 conditions before an expatriate will be liable to pay tax in Nigeria if he's working in Nigeria. The employer must be in Nigeria, or the fixed base where he's working, where the income is derived, must be in Nigeria. In this case, the fixed base, which is the OML, is in Nigeria. Number 2, this guy stayed in Nigeria for more than 183 days in a 12-month period, not a calendar year. If you count from, is it September or whatever to, you see that even the time he traveled and all that, the leave, everything is 12 months. And definitely, although the distance is not tell us, so you say if this doesn't tell you, you say in this case, the question doesn't tell us whether Nigeria and Great Britain had a double tax agreement. Assuming there's a double tax agreement, then the guy tax will be based on that double tax agreement. If there's no double tax agreement, then the person will be liable to tax in Nigeria because he has fulfilled all the 3 conditions. Let's come back. Please read that section again. We'll come back to that question. So when we finish the other one, because we are supposed to spend time, because those of you are going to work in a big law firm, you see a lot of your employees coming to Nigeria, and you want to know whether they're liable to tax in Nigeria. So let's finish that because we started yesterday. Then what about B? Please, you did
B.
very well. Yes, B.
If yes, which year?
So which year would the 12-month be? Would it be calculated? How many months did you work in Nigeria in 2023? When did you come to Nigeria? Yes, I'm still listening to you. This lady, what's the name again? Yusuf, Abi? Yusuf. Fatima, Abi? Fatia.
Oh, yes, Fatia. Yes, sir.
Were you the one answering before?
September.
He arrived in Nigeria in September.
Okay. So how many months in 2023?
Yes.
Say, for example, out of this 23.
How many months in 2023?
He spent
Josephine.
3 months in Nigeria.
From
He
September,
spent
it's
3
3
months
months.
in Nigeria in 2023.
From September, 3 months. Fatia.
He was in America. He was in America in 2012. Was in America in December.
But it's counted. Now, didn't you hear when Chida was telling us temporary absences are counted? Temporary absences,
Yeah,
they are
I
counted.
know. I just answered the
Okay,
question.
no. For our tax purposes, temporary
All right,
absences.
for that, then
4 months. So that's 120 days. So
all right,
it did
sir.
not meet 183 days in 2023.
Yes,
It
sir.
was only when you go to 2024 that the 183 days are met. So it will liable to tax in 2024. Do you understand what I'm saying?
2025.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
2025, sorry, 2025. Yes, you are right. So it came in 2024 September. It spent 4 months for tax purposes in 2024, which is not up to 183. It was only the months that is spent in 2025 that made it 183. So it will be taxed in 2020. Which state would it be taxed now? Remember we said before you are allowed to tax in the state in which you are resident. Which state would it be taxed, Fatia?
I would say Port Harcourt.
Huh? Precious, can you mute? Yes, Fatia, which state would it be taxed? Are we off? Hello? Hello?
You can hear you, sir.
Okay, we got locked off. She got locked off for what? Fatia, you are still talking now?
Yeah, I said Port Harcourt.
No, it can't be Port Harcourt now.
Oh, okay.
No, we are listening. Why did you say Port Harcourt?
Oh, I said Port Harcourt because that's where the 183 days caught up with him.
No, that's not what the law didn't say that. Section 2 didn't say that. Section 2 only say you pay
Okay.
tax in the state where you are resident.
Oh, so
It
that
didn't
would be
say,
Lagos because he's staying in Lagos.
no, it only said in Lagos for 1 month.
I don't know again.
Okay, you don't know yet. So I think
Okay.
we will divide the taxes to each of the state where, so 1 month in Lagos, up to the time you move to Port Harcourt, he will pay the tax. The tax will be remitted to Delta State. Then from the time he stayed in Port Harcourt up the time he was terminated, the tax will be remitted to River State, to Fuba. So let's do this. Let us leave that one.
Sorry, I have a question, sir.
Please, I have a question as well.
I'm listening. Go ahead. Somebody said she had a question.
Okay.
Who was the person?
All right, sir. So you said that we would have to remit the taxes to the state. Now, my question is, does that not mean that would be going back? I mean, seeing as Section 10 provides that it is upon 183 days of residence in Nigeria that the tax would be calculated. If you're remitting the tax to the states where he stayed prior to the 183 days being completed, then does that not mean that it is not really about 183 days, more like you'd be paying for tax as soon as for the period he has been in the country?
Yes, now once you start working for an employer, the employer is supposed to deduct your tax from the we are stating what the law is. Sometimes a lot of things happen in practice, but we are just saying what the law is. So as soon as somebody starts to work for you, as soon as an employee starts to work for an employer, the employer is obligated to deduct personal income tax under pay regulations and remit it to the state where the employee is resident. That's what the law says. So if it now turns up that the guy didn't spend on to 183 days, then the guy could file for a refund. But let's come back. But
Okay,
all we want
I have a question, sir.
we need to go to our topic. But what's the question?
My question is, you mentioned that for Lagos, we're also going to they would also be remitting the tax to Lagos state government, right? But then it said that he went for training, not that he worked.
But
So
if you join Ajumagobia today, you don't start going to court today. You'll be under an associate and a partner to be training you. You'll be following the person to court. You still get paid now. You still get paid. They are not training you for nothing. They are training so that you work for them, you learn the job. So even though he was on training, he was already an employee. Next question, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, Section 2, so 3. By the provision of Section 2 of 3, I thought you can just pay it to any state. By the provision of Section 2 sub 3, I thought you could just pay it to any state.
What does Section 2 sub 3 say?
It says that in case of an itinerant worker, tax will be collected for any year by any state.
It's not an itinerary worker. It's not an itinerary worker. It's not going around like a cattle.
Oh.
It's not a cattle. It's not an itinerary worker.
Sir, but he was moving from one state to another.
No. He was working for the same company, but they have different. If you work for Shell now, Shell has offices in Akwa Ibom, Ikotabasi, and all that. So it's working for Shell. It's not an itinerary worker. Itinerary worker are people who move around. Like those cattle areas, they are gatus who make ridges for you to plant your yam. They come in the summer, they move to some other place where the job is in the next next winter and all that. They move around. Those are itinerary workers. This is not an itinerary. Is working for a company where it's expertise. So if you work for Banwan and you have an election tribunal case and you go there for 1 month, have you become an itinerary worker? You are still working for the same law firm now. Only that the case you are working on is in Abuja. So any other question, please?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
We need to, this is the final question. Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. May counting, I don't know, maybe I'm right. I counted from September till February, and I don't think it's up to 183 days, sir.
Okay, when did he leave Nigeria finally?
He said the work was terminated in March 1st.
Okay,
which makes it
let's
that the
go.
work was
Okay,
6
hold
months.
on. Let's go over it. So September, 4 months. January, February. Okay, hold on. Oh, September, how many days? 30 days.
Yes,
October,
sir.
how many days?
31 days, sir.
That's 61 days, Abi.
Yes, sir.
November, how many days?
That should be 30 days, sir.
That's 91 days. December, how many days? 31 days. 31 plus 91, that's 122. Abi? 122, Abi?
Yes, sir.
No, that's 150.
31,
Yes, sir.
31
Yes, sir.
plus 91, that's 122. January, another 31
Yes,
days.
sir.
Yes, 120.
January,
That's 153.
153.
okay. And okay, yeah, 150. So plus 28 in February. 8 plus 3, that's
181.
160. 8 plus 53, that's 161. 161 plus 20, that's 181.
181, sir. Yes, sir.
That's 181.
So, and then on March 1st, that's 182.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's say, can you correct the question to March 2nd? Or let's just say March 3rd. March 3rd. Thank you very much. Mr. Ade what?
Adewara, sir.
Mr. Adewara, did I meet you before?
No, not really, sir.
Okay, I know Alhaji Adewara in my estate. Do you know him? He's from Kwara State.
No, also from Kwara, sir.
So it's your uncle. Do you?
Yes, sir. Very lucky, sir.
Okay, Alhaji Adewara is in my estate. Okay, and then he has a property in Maryland, which I'm involved. Okay, let's go ahead. So let's change the question to March 3rd. Are we together? So that means that will make 183 days and 184 days. So that will make 183, mid 183 days. Are we together? Did you get that? Does anybody have any more questions? Thank you, Mr. Adewa.
You're welcome, sir.
So the person must stay in Nigeria. The person must either work for an employer in Nigeria and the income will be derived from a fixed base. That means a location in Nigeria. Number 2, the guy must have stayed in Nigeria in a 183 days in a 12-month period, including temporary absences, temporary leave and all that. Number 4, there must be no double tax treaty between the guy's country and Nigeria. So in this case, we assume. Now we come back to that when we finish. So let's, in the absence of any question, we go to section, we go to the tax evasion. We're gonna, you don't have to read everything. You don't have to know everything about tax evasion, but it's good for those of you who want to write your papers next year on taxation law. So let me bring mine up. We call back Ms. Onyekon to assist us. Tax evasion. Hold on. Have you done criminal law?
Yes, sir.
You have done criminal law. What's the difference between an intentional crime and a negligent crime? What's the difference? Murder and manslaughter, what's different?
Intention.
Sir? What did you say?
The intention to commit the crime.
Exactly. So that is the main difference. We call it malice, or we call it scienter. In law, we call it scienter. SCIENTER. The intent, the malice. Malice. If I'm driving my car now and it's raining and I cannot see very well and I collide with a man, that is an accident. Nobody can kill me for that. But let's say the guy beat my junior brother. Okay, let's say the guy beat my junior brother. And then I now use the car to hit him. That is intent. If he now dies, that's murder because I intended to cause grievous bodily harm. And the guy died for me. So that's the intent. And that's different between tax evasion and tax avoidance. Anytime there's an intent, that is an evasion. Somebody actually intended to evade tax. But when the person did not intend, but just wanted to do what he thought was the right thing, and he ended up, evading tax. Let's assume that I stayed there for 183 days, but I mistakenly calculated 182. Then that is an avoidance. But if I actually came in I actually stayed 183 days and then I now forged my passport, then that would be evasion. So let's go to our, please, you are not supposed to know everything in this article offhand. So, Ms. Onyeka, can you just read that preface for us? Preface.
Preface. That's tax fraud, distinguishing between tax evasion and tax avoidance.
Okay.
Tax fraud is the general term.
No, okay. Is that what you have? Hold on. No.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm looking at another paper. Hold on. Sorry. Tax fraud. Okay. Okay. Keep on reading. Let me quickly bring it up. I'm looking at another paper. Keep on reading. Don't worry.
Okay. Tax fraud is the general term used to cover all sorts of tax shenanigans by tax practitioners and taxpayers alike. While undefined in most tax codes, tax fraud generally refers to a willful attempt to reduce or to eliminate tax liability by paying less than that which is known to be due. The controlling term is willful.
Willful, that is the fraud. Okay, hold on 1 second though. Please, let me bring, I have another paper here. So tax fraud is the general term that is used to, anytime a person does not pay tax, tax fraud is the general term that is used to describe a person that did not pay his tax. Tax fraud is what we usually use to describe whether it's tax evasion, whether it's tax avoidance. That's the general term that is used to define all shenanigans or everything that people do to evade tax. But to distinguish between the two, we look at the willful. The willful, that's the intent, the malice, the intent, the scienter, SCIENTER. Is there a scienter? Is there a purposive, a deliberate intent to evade tax? Aha. So I'm with you now. Okay. So that's tax fraud. Now, go ahead. Subjective intent.
Subjective
yes.
intention. Should I go on, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Subjective intention to circumvent the tax laws is required for a conviction. Yet, we must note that tax avoidance differs from tax evasion. Tax
Go ahead.
avoidance is an attempt to diminish taxation in a manner which the taxpayer or tax practitioner believes to be legal. Tax evasion.
Okay, hold on. So in a tax avoidance, the person believes his action to be legal. He thinks, so what I'm doing is right. Okay? He says, yeah, okay, I live in, like that lady said, now he said, this guy was in training in Lagos, therefore, he shouldn't pay the tax in Lagos. This other person said, the 183 days accrued in Port Harcourt, therefore, the person should only pay tax in Port Harcourt. Those are honest arguments believed to be legal, but actually they are not legal. I mean, actually they are not correct, sorry. So that's an avoidance. That person is avoiding tax. But what's tax evasion? Go ahead, Mr. Onyiko.
Tax evasion occurs when the taxpayer or tax practitioner attempts to evade payment of tax in a manner which he knows to be illegal.
Okay, in a tax evasion, the guy actually knows that what he is doing is illegal. He knows, he knows clearly that what he is doing is illegal, but he's still doing it. Okay, but in the first case, in the other case, the guy thought what he was doing was right, but it turned out that what he was doing was wrong. Okay, go ahead.
Therefore, tax evasion charges always require proof of an intentional, willful, or subjective intention, factual misrepresentation, while a tax avoidance characterization merely denotes an attempt to construe the facts so as to minimize tax liability.
Go ahead.
We must note that this distinction between avoidance and tax evasion is critical because different consequences attach to each respectively. Therefore, to tax practitioners, an honest but unsuccessful evasion scheme will subject the taxpayer to various civil fraud and criminal evasion penalties.
All right. So does anybody have question now about distinguishing between tax evasion and tax avoidance? You are free to ask. Now, does anybody have a constitution with you? Mr. Adewa, do you have your constitution?
I have my constitution with me.
Okay, can you look at section 24F? Is this Onyiko?
Yes, sir. Section 24 F.
F as in Francis.
Okay. It shall be the duty of every citizen to declare his income honestly to appropriate and lawful agencies and pay his tax promptly.
Okay. So what does that tell us under the Constitution? Chidera, what does that tell us?
It says that the tax is a compulsory levy imposed by government that we cannot avoid, or that we should not avoid.
Okay. I'm forgetting all those people that ask questions. Is this Shaliwa or something? Some people are asking questions. I forgot their names now. So everybody has a duty to state his income clearly and to pay his tax as is necessary. Now, however, so we know that we have a constitutional duty to pay our tax. No, however, that's what's called legitimate tax planning. That is why you are learning tax law. You want to know what is legal. You are free. It is legitimate to pay your tax. For example, now, you can choose if you have a space, if it's possible for you, you can go to the Lagos free zone and put your business there. When you're in the tax-free zone, you don't pay taxes there. Nobody says that you must put your business at Surulere or at Ojuelegba or at Yaba, you don't have any duty. You understand? You can plan your business the way you want to. If the tax in Ibadan is lower than the one in Lagos, you can take your business there. You can take your business there. You don't have to have your business in Lagos. So, and that's what we call tax planning. Tax planning means that you can plan. What about if somebody comes to Nigeria, like Mr. Adewa showed us, the guy lives Nigeria on March 1st. Did he meet the 183 days on March 1st? He did not. So you can plan your business so that you won't stay here for 183 days. And you go back to where you're coming from. That is allowed. You can plan. You didn't make the law. The law says that if you pass your JAMB, if you score 400 in JAMB, you can read law. You can choose to go and read English. It's not by force. You must go and read law. So that's what we call legitimate tax planning. Legitimate tax planning means that a person is free to plan his taxes the way he wants to. So we want to look at what is legitimate. Remember, first of all, we started with tax fraud. Tax fraud covers both tax evasion and tax avoidance. And tax avoidance is when a person has a subjective, intentional, malicious motive to do something which he knows to be illegal. Whereas tax avoidance means that he's doing something which he believes to be legal, but which turned out to be wrong. So we want, and at the same time, I want to look at what is legitimate tax planning. Nobody has an obligation to pay more tax. If your tax is 10 million naira, you don't have to pay 11 million. There's nobody is asking you to pay your. So if you put your business in the Lekki free zone, if your tax is going to be 0, nobody's going to force you to come and put your business at Yaba and pay 10 million. No, nobody. Okay? If you know that, there's a new tax bill coming out now, and so if you know that you have not started your business, you can hold on till that tax bill comes out, and then nobody's going to say, oh, why didn't you start your business in November so you could have paid more? Nobody can ask you that. You will wait. You plan your tax. So what's legitimate tax planning? Go ahead. Mr. Onyeka, if you can read for us.
Legitimate tax planning. Thus, while there are rules barring tax avoidance, it is generally recognized that a taxpayer has great liberty to legally and properly plan and structure his or its business, income, and tax reports or returns as freely as possible. In the words of Honorable Menzies of the High
Can we
Court
hold
of
on?
Australia.
Can we hold on, please? They said the taxpayer has the freedom, okay? He's free to plan, to legally and properly plan and structure his or her, business, income, and tax activities, okay? As freely as he wants. It's free. You can plan your business, you can plan, okay? You can plan your business the way you want to. You can go to Kaduna to go and work there. You don't have to work in Lagos and make more income and pay. You can, build your house in Ogun State and pay less land use charge. So you are free to plan your business the way you want to. You are not evading tax. You are planning your tax. You are free, so long as you are not breaking the law. So what did Judge Menzies say in Pete? Go ahead. In the words of Robert Menzies. Yeah.
In the words of Honorable Menzies of the High Court of Australia, in Pitt and Commissioner of Taxation, it is perhaps inevitable in an acquisitive society that taxation is regarded as a burden from which those who are subject to it will seek to escape by any lawful means that may be found.
Okay? So nobody likes to pay tax. So those who are paying tax will find a way to escape it by any lawful means. Lawful, not illegal. Lawful means. So, like me now, this is me. Oh. I had a car which I bought when I came back from US. I sold it. Immediately I sold it, I used the money to buy dollars. That time dollar was 350. But I could see the way the country was being run. I know that, they just manage the economy anyhow. So that money, I just put it in my account. And I didn't touch it because I had other source of income. So at that time, it was $350. Now a dollar is 1,750. So on $1, I've made almost 1,400 naira on each dollar. It's not my fault. I'm not the Minister of Finance. I'm not the president. I'm not the governor. But I know what is going to happen. I can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. Somebody's going to steal all the money and mess up. I know what's going. I know Nigeria. I know what's going to happen. So I'm not asking to do the same thing. So nobody can hold me that, oh, why didn't you spend your money? Why didn't you go and buy amala? Why didn't you go and buy fried rice? No. Why would I buy fried rice when I know that that dollar which I have in my hand will be worth 2,000 naira by January 2025? I will keep the $1. So let's go ahead.
It must be acknowledged that at the onset, that it is true that a taxpayer, corporate or individual, may plan his tax affairs as a means of paying the minimum tax payable to the authorities. The law is that a taxpayer does not have a duty, not even a patriotic duty, to pay more tax than he ought to. An inviolable view supported by the foremost American jurist, Honorable Justice Billings, learned hand, who opined that anyone.
Okay, hold on. Let's read them footnote 3.
Okay. The case of Helvarings and Gregory.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyone.
Okay. Anyone, yes.
May so arrange his affairs that his taxes shall be as low as possible. He is not bound to choose that pattern, which will best pay the treasury. There is not even a patriotic duty to increase one's taxes.
Okay, so anybody can plan his tax so that you pay the minimum. Insofar what I say legal, you are taking a legal route. Okay? You don't have to. Nobody's gonna force you to pay if it's legal for you not to pay more, you can pay less. Okay? So if you can put your business in the free trade zone, you are free to go there and pay no tax at all. You are free. Okay? The land use charge, there are some exceptions to land use charge. For example, if there's a cemetery in that place, you don't pay land use charge. So a church, instead of that has a building, can, form a cemetery behind the building and say, okay, come and bury your loved ones here. And then they will avoid tax. It's legal. You don't have to. You don't have to pay more tax. So that is legitimate tax planning. So if in exam, if I ask you, as opposed to tax evasion, what is legitimate tax planning? So you must be able to tell me that Section 24 IF says that everybody must pay tax, declare his income and pay the appropriate tax. However, it has been held that nobody has a duty to pay more tax than is necessary, insofar as it means that it's using a lawful. There's even no patriotic duty to pay more tax than is necessary. Okay? So let's go to Justice Hand again.
Justice Hand again repeated this tax canon in 1947 when he held that over and over again, courts have said that there is nothing sinister in so arranging one's affairs as to keep taxes as low as possible. Everybody does. So, rich or poor, and all do right, for nobody owes any public duty to pay more than the law demands. Taxes are enforced exactions, not voluntary contributions. To demand more in the name of morals is mere cant.
Okay, let me give you an example. I was coming back from church on Sunday. There was a supermarket by my house, by the ShopRite. I went there to buy a bottle of groundnut. They call it peanut. The same groundnut. Oh. And it's been on the shelf probably like 6 months, who knows how long. They said it's 9,200. I said, thank you. I went outside, I walked a little bit. I saw some women, some Igbo women selling good one, well-roasted one, fresh one, 2,200. I bought it. In fact, I bought 2 bottles. I saved 7,000 on each one. Is it legitimate for me to go and, is it mandatory for me to go and buy in a ShopRite? That is not necessary. Why would I? They say, and in short, I will even pay VAT again, 7.5%. But for that woman, she won't charge me 7.5. And she will call me, hey, my husband, my son, and all that. So why would I? Why would I? Nobody has a duty to pay more than you are lawfully required. Nobody. You are free not to pay more than is legally required. So let's go in Britain. Also in the United Kingdom.
Also, in the United Kingdom, the same rule was laid down by Lord Tomlin in Inland Revenue Commissioners and Duke of Westminster. Every man is entitled, if he can, to order his affairs so that the tax attaching under the appropriate act is less than it otherwise would be. If he succeeds in ordering them as to secure these results, then however unappreciative the commissioners of Inland Revenue on his fellow taxpayers may be of his ingenuity, he cannot be compelled to pay an increased tax. This so-called doctrine of the substance seems to me to be nothing more than an attempt to make a man pay, notwithstanding that he has so ordered his affairs, that the amount of tax sought from him is not legally claimable.
Okay. Now, let's keep to the tax avoidance. Does anybody have any question about tax planning scheme? Does anybody have any question? Legitimate tax planning, legitimate lawful tax planning. Does anybody have any question? So let's go to number 4, anti-tax avoidance
So,
rules.
good afternoon, sir. Please, I have a question regarding
Yes.
legitimate tax planning. So my question, sir, is can tax avoidance be categorized under legitimate tax planning since the tax payer or tax practitioner believes it to be legal to diminish the taxation?
Yeah, if you believe it is legal and it is actually legal, then it is legitimate tax planning. If it turns out that you are wrong, then it is tax avoidance. That is different.
Oh, okay, sir. But the material says there's a consequence attached to both tax avoidance and tax evasion, and that's why it is necessary to understand.
Your question was between tax avoidance and legitimate tax planning.
Yes, sir. But now
Okay.
that also births another question. It begets another question. The question now is, the material earlier said that there's a need to understand the differences between tax evasion and tax avoidance because there are different consequences attached to them.
But not between tax evasion and tax planning.
No, sir. Yes, I understand you, but I'm also saying now that that's what the material says, that is a need
No,
to
that's not what the
understand.
material, at that point, the material was talking about the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion at that point.
Yes,
the punishment
sir.
for
And
tax
that's the,
evasion, but not,
yes,
it
sir.
wasn't referring to legitimate tax. There's no punishment for legitimate tax planning. But maybe I didn't get your question.
I perfectly understand that, sir.
All
Now, my
right.
question, I'm trying to call your attention to the part of the material that says
Okay.
we need to understand the differences between tax evasion and tax avoidance because there are different consequences attached to them. However, when you further read the material, it stipulates the consequence that is attached to tax evasion, but not for tax avoidance. I mean, for tax evasion, the consequence is civil fraud or criminal evasion penalties. So my question is, aren't there penalties attached to tax avoidance since the taxpayer or tax practitioner had believed it to be legal as at the time he or she made the attempt to diminish taxation?
Oh, there are penalties for tax avoidance.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And it includes interest and penalties, because if you don't pay the tax, The tax is money that belongs to government. So if you hold the money, just like you're holding bank money, you have to pay interest. So if you see, maybe when we get next semester, when we get to withholding taxes, you will see that that's where you see a lot of penalties. These penalties, they relate to they are calculated on the prevailing lending rate. So there are penalties for both tax avoidance and tax evasion. But the one for tax evasion can include imprisonment and huge fine. But for tax avoidance, you pay interest and maybe some minimal penalties for holding the money that was due for the government. So let's go to anti-tax avoidance rule. That means the rules that are meant to prevent tax avoidance. Let's go ahead.
Anti-tax avoidance rules. As a result, in order to discourage sharp practices by individuals and corporate taxpayers alike, laws known as General Anti-Avoidance Rule, GAAR statutes, which prohibit tax aggressive avoidance, have been passed in several countries, including Nigeria, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Norway, and Hong Kong. A GAAR is typically a statutory rule that empowers a revenue authority to deny taxpayers the benefit of an arrangement that they have entered into for an impermissible tax-related purpose. For instance, a generic GAAR in Nigeria is contained in Section 22 of the Companies Income Tax Act.
Okay,
Thus,
hold on one second. So what is a general anti-avoidance rule? It is a power that is given to the tax authority, maybe FRS or LRS or whatever, to reconstruct what you have done. Assuming now that Mr. Devora is a lawyer and he has 4 sons and they are all lawyers, but they are practicing their law separately. Then Mr. Devora made in November, Mr. Devora made 200 million naira from a case. And let's assume the tax on that case is like 60 million. Let's assume that the tax is going to pay to government is like maybe 30 million on that 200 million. And then Mr. Devora didn't want to pay the tax. Then he now goes to CAC and forms a business name and then puts his children's name as members of his law firm, although they never work with him at all. So all the 4 children, they are lawyers. He now brings them into the law firm. So he now says that each of them is entitled to claim their deductions and their allowances and consolidated revenue allowance and all that. So that by the time they deduct all those allowances, they are traveling, their petrol, their upkeep and all that, I mean, the money they are spending for the case, for their activities, maybe the tax will be reduced to 5 million. So the LRS will now say no.
No.
That the law firm that was formed in December between Mr. Devora and his 4 sons was a tax avoidance scheme so as to evade tax, because they never worked with him from January. They didn't come there in February. They didn't come there in March. It was only after the guy made 200 million that he now brought his children in so as to dilute the income and dilute the tax payable. So they will now use the GAAR, General Anti-Tax Avoidance Rule, to reinterpret the tax return that Mr. Devora has filed. So what happens under a statutory GAAR is that when a person presents a tax scheme which the tax authority believes that it is artificial, that it is meant to evade tax, the tax authority will now reconstruct, will look at that scheme very well. Mr. Devora, you're a lawyer from January to November 30th. You didn't work in Nigeria. And I mean, you didn't have these 4 guys working with you. Now you made 200 million naira. You want to bring these guys in. What you want to do is to create a lot of expenses that will take out of that money. Or assume that Mr. Green comes to Nigeria. After spending 182 days, he leaves Nigeria. Then after 3 months, he come, and let's say after 4 months, he come back again, spend another 181 days, and leaves Nigeria. The airline say no. What you are engaging in sharp practice, tax avoidance. So you are just cutting off that 183 days before it will accrue. You say no, we will count you as having lived in Nigeria for the whole 3 years because you are here for 183 days. Then you only went for 2 months, and then you started another 183 days or 4 months. So we are going to reconstruct. So what happened under GA House that they will reconstruct, they will overrule what the taxpayer has filed, and then look at the purpose. What was his motive in constructing his tax affairs like that? They will not, you stayed there for 181 days last year. Now this year again, you started
These
what you
buy
are
better
doing.
people, they are very fast in delivering their skincare stuff. Oh God, I'm always unmuted. Shit.
Okay, so they will say, what you are doing is to evade tax. What you are doing is to avoid the tax, but actually, what you are doing is not genuine. So, what does Section 22 say? A typical example is Section 22 of CETA, Section 17 of PETA, which you are going to see, and then I think Section 20 of CGTA, and Section 15 of PPTA. They contain the same thing. What does it say? Section 22 of CETA, Ms. Onyeko?
Section 22 sub 1 of Companies Income Tax Act, where the board is of opinion that any disposition is not in fact giving effect to, or that any transaction which reduces or would reduce the amount of any tax payable is artificial or fictitious, it may disregard any such disposition or direct that such adjustments shall be made as respects liability to tax as it considers appropriate, so as to counteract the reduction of liability to tax affected or reduction which will otherwise be affected by the transaction, and any company concerned shall be accessible accordingly.
So thank you very much. So under Section 17 of PETA or Section 22 of CETA or Section 15 of PPT and all that, if the tax authority is of the opinion that what the taxpayer is doing is artificial or fictitious and it doesn't have substance, they may disregard that tax return, or they may substitute their own opinion as to what the tax is. So if the guy is staying there 181 days and going out 181 days, there's, okay, we disregard what you are doing. Actually, you are in Nigeria, you've been living for 3 years. So you must pay that for the last 3 years. So the tax authority is free to disregard everything that the guy is saying. So that is what Section 17 of PETA, Section 22 of CETA, Section 20 of CGTA, and Section 15 of PETA, that's what they are saying. There are a lot of cases as well that have the same import, where the court would overrule a transaction because it does not reflect what is actually being done. So if you look at Ramsey versus Commissioner, Inland Revenue Commissioner, or is it Bombay? Burma Oil, Ramsey and Burma Oil Limited. They will tell you how the courts have, a person that schemed a thing that was a capital gains, or that was supposed to be subject to income tax, maybe at 22%. He now said it was capital gains at 10%. The court said no. They too will substitute. They will not permit they will not permit such things to go untaxed. Okay, so then you see definition of tax avoidance there, which is exactly what you have been saying. So for our purpose in this lab, because we are not doing tough cases, we are not here. So tax avoidance is when a person engages in a person engages in an act, tax avoidance, which he believes to be legal, but which actually is not legal, but which was meant to help him to pay less tax than is possible. That is, but when a person has a genuine intent to evade tax, then it is tax evasion. Okay, so if you go to paragraph 6, let me see how many minutes we have more. We have I have another class at 3:30. So on Wednesday, we quickly look at some cases of tax evasion, like these cases, manipulating and all that. And then we go straight to interpretation of tax statutes. So I'm sure now, if I ask any one of you, if you know what tax evasion is, and tax avoidance, and legitimate tax planning, and case law and statutes that are meant to prevent tax evasion and tax planning, I'm sure you will tell me about Section 17 of PITA, Personal Income Tax, Section 22 of CITA, Section 15 of PPTA, and Section 20 of CITA. And you tell me about the case of Boma, you tell me about the case of Ramsey versus Inland Revenue Commissioner. And then I'm sure you, for tax planning, you give me the case of Pete, Evan versus Gregory, and all those cases. You can tell me what legitimate tax planning, and you tell me what Section 24F says. Is there anybody who cannot tell me that? Is there anybody who is tired today, who doesn't like this boring area? There's some people who ask, Toribat, you didn't say anything today. Is Toribat there today? Read one ask a question. There are some ladies, is it Shalewa and Shalewa? A lot of ladies asked questions yesterday. They've run away now. So, I guess we would see. Thank you, Ms. Onyekon. You'll be compensated. So I guess we will see on Wednesday morning at 9:30, where we complete use of statutory interpretation. We follow the syllabus, and then if anybody asks any question, that's what the dean wants. If the dean wants you, the dean wants you to be able to follow this course very well. He said he wants to create a lot of tax lawyers. So the dean wants, if you have any question at all, you are free to notify. We will all discuss the question. Are you writing something? I can see something popping up on the laptop. Are people asking questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so we'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you, Onyekon.